What's up, y'all? We got to get down to the garden because we got to get those lemon squash plants out. They are officially done for the rest of the summer. Let's go. Before I get down to the garden to pull all that squash plants out, I'm gonna go ahead. I got a couple old ones. I'm gonna go ahead and give to old Henry and Olivia. Here, hey girl, back up. Hey. Oh, is that pretty good? All right, y'all enjoy that. We're gonna go pull out a whole bunch of plants. I might have some more for you, we'll see. I got 4 in total, so I think I'm gonna throw the other 2 in here to the chickens and let them get a little bit of that. Y'all want some squash? See if y'all like that. Say from the looks of it, they like it. My girl today, she's back up in the gutter again. So what I have to do, I had to open the door up to the coop. And as you can see, yeah. So we're still working on that. We're gonna have to clip the wings. That's the only option I see to fix the problem. So let's go on, head down to the garden. We'll be back to the animals here after a little bit. Guys, if you can tell, the garden is starting to thin out a little bit. We're starting to gear down to the end of our summer garden. And let me show you kind of some of the stuff we got going on, because we're actually going to be ripping out all of this lemon squash today because we're pretty much at our end with it. Let me show you what's going on. So you can tell by these leaves, they're all chewed up and stuff, but the biggest thing is you can see it really good here, is you can see all this powdery mildew that's starting to form on it. I think our issue is we're really not getting near the sunlight that we used to get. You know, it used to be, it was light as early as, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning, and wasn't getting dark until almost 9 o'clock. Well, now this whole area, the sun's not really hitting it until probably closer to 7. And obviously now it's also getting shaded a whole lot sooner. So with all the rain we've gotten, I think it's done a number. The lemon squash has produced fantastic, so we definitely got our money's worth in terms of it. But we're gonna go ahead and pull what last little bits on there, and we're gonna go ahead and get those plants out of here so it doesn't impact any of our other plants. I'll tell you what, guys, that cart might be my new best friend. Awesome thing. So happy with it. So as you can see though, Got a good little bit of lemon squash left off them. Some of them got a little bit bigger than I like. These are a little bit too big. I usually like to get them more about this size right here. But that's gonna be it for the year. We've ate a pile of it. I have, for packaging that stuff or preserving it, most of it I froze. So let me update you on the rest of the garden. So we're gonna be picking a whole bunch of jalapenos today. These are the last little bit. I mean, look at this, guys. Jalapeno plants almost as tall as me. These are probably the tallest jalapeno plants I've ever grown. About 95% of our seed in this garden came from Baker Creek Heirloom Seed Company. They've been fantastic seeds. There's been some channels that for whatever reason has migrated, but for us, they've been fantastic. And next year, that is very likely gonna be where I get the majority of my seeds from again. So very happy with that. Our sunflower plant's starting to look kind of sad. It's pretty tall, but a lot of the flowers are starting to die off. Kind of seems like they died a little premature. It did its job in terms of bringing in pollinators, so I'm still very pleased. These zinnias are out of control. I've actually debated on cutting them down, but while we still had some plants still trying to grow, I've been leaving them just to pull in some pollinators. Tomato plants have gotten, it's a jungle. I'm not gonna lie, there's nothing perfect about it, but if you can tell though, I mean, this is probably the last big thing that we're producing. I mean, it's still, I got just countless and countless of tomatoes. You can see here we got a good bit of the Brad's Atomic Grapes are coming in. We've been picking a lot of those here lately. They kind of come in these clusters. Now I told you I'm gonna be very honest. The Brad's Atomic Grape tomatoes, they've grown very well. They've produced great numbers. Seem like very healthy plants. But for me, I don't like the taste of them as much. They're not bad tasting. They actually, I mean, they taste fine. But in terms of my preference of taste, it's just not really the flavor of a tomato that I really care for. So even though they grew really well and they look really cool, that's probably not gonna be a tomato that we're gonna grow in the future. But you can see, we still got tomatoes changing colors, nice, good looking, beautiful, heavy tomatoes. We picked probably about 15 to 20 or so yesterday. You can see we got this guy tucked deep down in there starting to change, but these are good size, healthy tomatoes. Been extremely pleased with those. We're gonna get these beans picked today too. We've been picking these dragon tongue beans a lot. We also have the contender green bean plants, but these things are coming to an end. You can see these plants are really starting to struggle. Even the dragon tongue, which have produced far better, they're kind of now reaching a point too where they're really starting to struggle as well. So they're going to be coming to an end here in the very near future. So we've kind of had a second wave of watermelons start to grow. We got about 7 of these guys growing, even though you can tell we call it Madison's melon patch has really started to look pretty sad. It's coming to its end. This is kind of the sign that summer's coming to an end, as much as we may not want to let it go. But I'm gonna go ahead and let these, we've been getting a few hot days and some heavy rains, so we may be able to, by spirit, hang on to a little bit of summer by eating some delicious watermelons. So what's my plan going into the fall garden? From the start of this, guys, when I first started this channel, a lot of my thing was trying to get you to understand that you can do this even if you work full time. Well, and I always said that you need to put things in perspective to what your life will allow you to do. Well, I had plans of doing a huge fall garden. I love the fall, my favorite season of the year. On top of work and the new baby, my wife's school teacher with all the COVID stuff, she's teaching both online kids and in-person kids. My schedule just is not gonna allow me to dedicate a lot of time to a successful fall garden. So all I'm gonna do this fall is, as you can see behind me, you see this plant right here that's growing. And we got it running up here, and it comes all the way down there. That is a variety of pumpkin. I stuck the seeds in. I've not done anything to it other than I am gonna fertilize them here in the very near future, but that's about the extent of what I'm gonna do with those. But it's gonna be almost a hands-off approach other than managing pests and fertilizing. That's gonna really be the extent of it. And all I'm gonna do is, if you notice down here, there's a couple little squash plants starting to form up, and these are just a variety of winter squash. I'll be honest with you, they're not looking that good since the time I planted, so I'm not sure how they're gonna hold up. And then lastly, I stuck in some seeds too. Right here, you can see there's one right there. There's one right there. And then we got some like right here, and then we got some doubled up right there. I didn't plan to plant in pre-existing holes that I'd already had another plant there that was pulling nutrients, so I'm definitely gonna have to fertilize, but it just came down to time. So really the only stuff that we're gonna be doing this fall is gonna be 2 varieties of winter squash, along with our pumpkins, which are technically a winter squash. And the Brussels sprouts are actually looking really good in this cooler weather, so they may actually produce, and my kale and my cabbage will stay. Other than that, everything else, the tomatoes, the peppers, as it dies, I'm pulling it, and that's gonna be it. That's all we're gonna be able to manage going into this fall. Next year's fall, it's game on, man, because I ain't having no more kids, I'm gonna tell you that right now. So enough about what we're gonna do in the fall. Let me get the rest of this stuff picked, and I'll show you what our final harvest shows up for today. Now, a couple things you'll see, some of these have started to split because we've had some big rains come in. So a lot of the times I'll pick them when they're about like this. They still got some green, and you'll notice it kind of gets, I call it the sunburst. And I think these would have normally been red, but I'm pretty sure we had a lot of cross-pollination going on between the reds and the golden tomatoes because they're so close together. And a large percentage of my tomatoes have looked like this. They'll get a little bit deeper color, but I'd say probably a huge percentage of my tomatoes will get nice and ripe and soft, but they'll be more of a color similar to this with this cool streaking pattern in it. And they've been delicious, but I'm pretty sure we had a lot of cross-pollination that's causing a lot of that. I'm gonna get these things loaded up on the gorilla cart, and we're gonna head up back to the house with it. Y'all, I said we was gonna go on up, and I've realized I completely forgot to grab the beans. So I grabbed those, threw those on real quick, and we're gonna take them up to the house. So guys, I'm very pleased with this harvest today. You know, even though summer's winding down, we're still getting some great products. We're still getting some great produce, stuff to feed our family. Now I'm just trying to be as creative as I can in terms of how to preserve this to the best of my ability so we can get the most out of it before we can start planting again next spring. But, you know, every little bit counts. Every little bit of failure that we've had, we've tried to learn from it. And every part of success we've had, we try to be that much more appreciative of it. So summer garden's dwindling down. We still got a little bit more to work on. We're gonna take you along for the rest of that as well. So guys, appreciate you hanging out with us today. As always, we appreciate your support. If you haven't subscribed to our channel yet and you watch us regularly, we ask that you do so. It helps us out tremendously. Gives us greater access to other things that YouTube offers, you know, to be able to do live feeds, to be able to do a community chat forum and different things like that. So we're trying to get there so we can try to give you a better product. So we appreciate your support. Appreciate you doing that if you're willing to. It's free, doesn't cost you anything. But guys, if you're not having started a garden on your own, I highly encourage you to start planning for next spring and try to look what you can do for yourself. So until then, y'all be good, and we'll see you here real soon on the next video. Y'all have a good one.